Good Monday evening to everyone. How are you? It is good to see you and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show, everybody. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Monday evening. And it has been a weekend ride. Let me tell you what, guys, can't stop, won't stop. We had a slam bang game of Gamma World on Friday. Saturday, I was guesting in over at the Speakeasy. And let me tell you about Sunday. Guys, I hate to ever do this. And I'm going to tell you how you can avoid me having to tell you the story post ex facto. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications to find out about when I'm going to do all of the live streaming, talking about just all sorts of fun stuff in the in-betweens, our live videos, our interstitial videos, the shorts. I'm looking to do more YouTube shorts because I think people actually kind of dig those, So if you haven't already, like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. It really helps. I'm shadow banned by the algorithm. No, I'm not. I would really like it if you would subscribe to the channel. We are at 7,140 some subscriptions, I think. And why is that significant? Because when we hit 10K, I'm gonna celebrate that. We're gonna have an IRL convention. That's right. We're gonna have an IRL convention. Elizabeth, how are you? I hope you are well. Good to see you, dear. But anyway, so yeah, last night, let me turn on stage comments there. Last night, so anyone who's a fan of this show, you know the ongoing constant wrestling match that I have with audio issues. OBS will just stop doing its thing. StreamYard will stop doing its thing. And it always gives me fits because I want to bring quality stuff to you guys. I like to at least present the idea that I kind of know what I'm doing, that I'm kind of doing a good job at it. And I really get wound up when my audio doesn't work right. So with the help of Kevin and with the help of actually Daughter Delver, I troubleshot it over the weekend. And I said, when I finished up with Kevin late Saturday night, we were like, okay, we think we got this. Or maybe it was early on Sunday. I honestly don't remember at this juncture. But we tested it out, and he said, I think you're good to go. And I said, you know what? If I don't test it out one more time, it's going to break. On Monday, I'm going to come in. I'm going to start the open credits, and like I'll be able to hear it, or you guys won't be able to hear it, or you won't hear the startup music, or my mic will be muted. Something will go wrong, and I'd rather have it go wrong with us just sitting around bullshitting. And what happened last night was pretty special. I figured, okay, I'll have 10 people in the live chat. I'll confirm that it's working, or I'll confirm that it's broken, and then I'll drop off and I'll either have to tear into it, or I'll be like, okay, it's fixed, it's done. And then I'll just leave it be. You guys, you people. What do you mean, you people? What do you mean? What do you mean, you people? You guys showed up in droves to watch me literally noodle with audio stuff. And I needed a test harness. So I pulled in Gonzalo Lira's bar tab. You guys know him now as Gonzalo from the live chat. I said, somebody get in here. I invited someone in, and literally Gonzalo was like, I'll do it. And what was going to be, because right off the bat, I confirmed that my intro and my outro worked. And so I was like, okay, let's make sure that you guys can hear a guest still, that I can hear a guest still, that the guest can hear me still. And so I threw the invite out there, and here comes Gonzalo. And we went from, okay, we're going to do this for 10 or 15 minutes to 2.5 hours. We ran 2.5 hours of just absolute chillaxed fun. And I had such a blast. There was no agenda. There was no context. I mean, we talked about music. We talked about we did talk about TTRPGs. We talked about TV shows. We talked about the weather, just everything. And you guys were in the chat, and you were watching and chatting up and asking questions, and you were throwing money into the supers for the swear jar for the night so I could drop some F-bombs. And it was an absolute gas. It was an absolute gas. Cooperative Waffles, unfortunately, you're not going to get much tech information out of it. Not because I won't share it. Just, you would have had to have been sitting here looking at the applications, fiddling with knobs and stuff. I was not narrating what I was doing. But if I can help you, drop me a DM, drop me an email or something like that. There goes my email across the bottom. And it was just amazing. And I think Daniel Rowan said it best. We caught lightning in a bottle. It was just one of those rare moments when I was just able to chill and to have a good time. And I did chill and I did have a good time. I had a lot of fun. Almost got Kyle on. Was gonna reach out to Tim Imholt, but I saw he was like not on social media at that time. May have been picking his kids up or something. But you know, I was certainly open to making it a round table, just kind of a let's just chat. So what I got out of it was, every once in a while, I just need to let my hair down, and I just need to do an impromptu stream where, you know, I'll throw a dart. Well, I won't say throw a dart. You know, I'll toss a tennis ball out in the audience, and the person that catches it, you know, an usher will come and get you and bring you up on stage. Is how we'll do that. Because it was fun. It was chill. It was, like I said, zero context. This is a deep cut here, but back in 80 something, 87 or 88, there was this big network TV writer strike, and David Letterman came out and did improv shows. He just came out and did shtick and had fun and would like call up people like, hey, you want to come on the show? This was like that. Like for a week or two, they went on like that. And this was like that. And it was a blast. There he is. There's the man of the hour, Gonzalo. So, I just, and I thought like after that one, a friend called me with he needed some advice on getting a streaming setup going in his house, and I ended up talking to him for like another hour. So you couple that with all last week's live stream, then on the speakeasy, then doing the testing with Daughter Delver and with Kevin, and then 2.5 hours, like my voice, and then another hour, my voice was shot. I was like, I'm not going to be able to get up tomorrow and do a show, but I'm good. I'm good. But after that, I was thinking, wow, that was so cool. I should plan to do that every so often. No, I shouldn't. It'll happen when it happens. It'll happen when the spirit takes me. If I plan to do it, it loses something, you know? So if you missed it and you wanted to have been part of it, I'm sorry. Like, you can watch the recording of it over on the main channel. But yeah, it was just it was just a moment that was good. Gonzalez says, speaking in tongues, I would say stop making sense. It's more like stop making sense. If we're talking about Talking Heads projects. Doc Flamingo, good to see you. I'm going to scroll back through. I'm going to say hello to everybody that has been dropping greetings in the chat. Daniel Rowan, I think you were first. Great old ones. Were your ears burning last night? Great old ones? I honestly can't remember because someone had some very nice stuff to say about you. Damien X247. Guys, let me tell you, Damien is old school. Damien has been here, I think, from the time that I transitioned over to YouTube. Damien was one of the first ones here. Solid guy. He has secured that seat in the front row. Nobody sits there. That's his chair. And Cooperative Waffles, of course. Hello, Matt Sherman, Clark Whitten, Charles Latora. I already said hello to Elizabeth, but hello again, dear. Matthew Steele, which is the most comic booky name, I think, of anyone out there right now. Sharky 1066. Greetings. Well, good. I'm glad. Of course, that means you guys can't catch my amazing Friday night Gamma World game anymore, but, que sera, I guess. So today what I got up to was, so this past weekend, someone reached out to me with a bug that was going on with Chrome. And that reminds me, tonight's live stream is brought to you by me and Chrome. And what is Chrome, you may ask? Chrome. Chrome is our very own little I gotta find out where it is. Chrome is the character record organization manager software that I have written to run on your PC. You can create, not just create there, guys, let me tell you something. There's lots and lots of character creators online for AD&D first edition. I'm not going to lie. You can go out there and find them. None of them are management tools. Your dungeon master handed you a bunch of XP. You don't want a math? Use Chrome. You just realized you can dual class? Oh, that's a lot of legwork. Use Chrome. You've got to buy, you've got the money. You want to keep track of your character's money? Use Chrome. You want to buy equipment with that money? Use Chrome. You got level drained? Use Chrome. You leveled up? Use Chrome. Your stats changed? use Crom. Your character died, you got to roll up a new one, and you want to get it done with a quickness, use Crom. Runs on Windows 10 and Windows 11. I am testing it on other platforms as I can. And yes, a Macintosh version is coming. So you can get all that in a single, simple package for $25. For $25. Reach out to me. Drop me a DM, drop me an email. Email is going across the bottom there. And that you get full support. And that brings me to the story. Rory wants me to use Arnold's voice. Crom, I never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. That's about the best I can do. By Crom. So yeah, I hit a snag that this was the weirdest thing that, if you gave your character first name, last name, John Smith, and John Smith could dual class, if you came into dual class, it was breaking. So I fixed that. I added pouches. Small and large belt pouches are now purchasable. So I fixed a couple of crash bugs, and then I fixed, I put pouches in the inventory. So there's a brand new version of Crom. If you haven't received it yet, let me know. And I mean brand new as of this afternoon. So if you saw one come in this morning or yesterday, it is newer than that. So please reach out to me and let me know. Hey, I need the updated Crom because I want my half elven bard to have the name Mary Smith, and I can't have it crashing on me. So has the link on the channel been updated? Well, there's no link to it on the channel. You got to buy it. And I do individual transactions via PayPal. One thing I can tell you is if you are a patron at Master Thief level for 2 months, I will send you a copy of Crom, or a YouTube subscriber for 2 months at Master Thief level, you will receive Crom. Let's see. Oh, who is this? Let's see. Who's Damien says, played another session of Godbound yesterday, and in a dungeon crawl, you traveled to the domain of the Godbound of Fate. We wound up fighting humanoid size 6-sided dice. I love it. I absolutely love it. Modrons, yeah. Charles Latorra played a lot of D&D last century when there was only the small pamphlet books. I still play that D&D. I've got the small pamphlet books right over here. Where's my travel copy of OD&D? That's the core rules for OD&D. Took this to GaryCon, I did. Sat down, played an impromptu game right there. Almost killed a couple of characters with the La Brea carpets. But then I offed them with a mimic later. So come on, get back in there. I'll put you over here. So let's talk about what's coming up this week. Right now, we're just chillaxing. On Tuesday, on tomorrow evening, we are going to have our regularly scheduled live play of first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm very excited about that. I always enjoy it. First edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons played live here for you guys, for your education, for your entertainment. Now, maybe you're newly subscribed to the channel and it kind of hits you. Big deal. You play D&D and I guess I sit and watch you. I don't want that to be the case. I do want you to sit and I do want you to watch. But I want you to do me a favor. Please, please, if you have a question about whatever we're doing, about a rule interpretation, a character's action, my action, I would very much like it if you would ask your question in the chat. Ask your question in the chat. Just throw it out there. And I will do my best to answer that question. If I don't answer it, someone else in the game might answer it. And if they don't answer it, guess what? I have the best looking and the smartest audience of all of the 5-night-a-week TTRPG live stream shows on YouTube that emphasize classical TTRPG play. So someone else out there may answer your question. So don't be afraid to ask it. And I would point something else out. And I think this is an important thing as anything can be. The dice decide what happens during the games that you guys see here. Okay. We don't do table reads. We don't do script writing sessions. We don't have story arcs. We don't have plots. We don't have, oh, well, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to the players about how the game is going to go. You guys get the full unfiltered tabletop experience. The dice will decide what happens. Will I bridge the gap between sessions by creating some encounters rather than doing it live? Yes. But the dice will always decide. I'm not sparing any characters. I'm not fudging any die rolls. I'm rolling it out there for you guys. You can see it. If a 13 hit the last round and the character's dying and I roll that D20 again and it's a 13 again, I'm not going to say, oh, he missed. Unless, protection spell was cast or something like that. It is AD&D as it's meant to be played. You guys get to watch. No rehearsals, no filters. AD&D. And I want you guys to join us for that because I think you're going to find it to be a fun and educational experience. Now, in that same vein, Wednesday nights, we try and get my Antipodean co-host, Kyle Schumann, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, not Florida. It'd be a lot more convenient for me if you were in Melbourne, Florida, Kyle, if you're watching this. I'm just saying. But he will be coming in. He's got a new RPG that he's been working on. You guys might remember the fun he had with Conflict. He's got a new one. It's even more streamlined called Yes, But. And by his own admission, it's kind of a Thespy RPG. But we're going to be giving that a try. Now, we did pick up some players already. But if you're interested in getting into that game, this is Kyle's maxim, not mine. I want to put that, I'm not putting anything on you guys. But Kyle's maxim is be a channel supporter for a minimum of $1 over at our Patreon. Hello, Kaku. Good to see you. Namaste. So support us on Patreon for $1 or over on YouTube memberships for $2. Well, $1.99. It's Kyle's max. It's the best looking video game girls of 2007 issue. Why do you think, Gonzalo? But anyway, We are just talking right now, Kaku. Tomorrow night we will be playing AD&D, and we'll be returning to the Slaver Stockade. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. But anyway, so Kyle will be gathering up he will be bringing in the sheaves. And hopefully we'll be doing some. I know he and I, at the very least, are going to play a little bit of Yes, But tomorrow or about Wednesday night. Thursday, I don't have a guest lined up Thursday. So guess what? We're going to look back at Temple of Elemental Evil. We're going to continue a deep dive. You understand about 60% of what's going on. Your language is different. What is your native language, Kaku? I'm keen to know now. I'm curious. So yes, Thursday night we will be reading some more Temple of Elemental Evil. Now, if you ask me, we found pretty much the creamy center when it comes to plot development in the Temple of Elemental Evil last Thursday, when we talked about how there's this multi-layered, Portuguese. Okay. Hey, Orbital Air. There's this multi-layer Twinkie that is Temple of Elemental Evil, but the creamy center in it is this imprisoned major figure in Greyhawk politics. But finding out who he is, getting him out, et cetera, that is super difficult. So we talked about that last week, and we're going to look at some other aspects of the temple when we go back to our deep dive this Thursday coming up. In Friday, I suppose you can say in Friday. On Friday, we will be back and we will be playing Gamma World. We will have a fun group for Gamma World. I'm looking forward to it. Some post-apocalyptic madness, and I hope you guys will be there for it. So that is the week ahead, barring any TTRPG news. And I have got my ear to the ground, my finger on the pulse, my nose to the grindstone, utilizing elbow grease, putting my back into it. Essentially, all of the body parts are monitoring the interwebs for TTRPG news that I think is pertinent to us. And I say that I think is pertinent to us because it's not always right. I mean, I could go out and, if you go to TTRPG news right now, because things are quiet out of Wizards of the Coast, it's like 5 builds for bards in D&D 2024. Well, nobody cares. You guys don't. I don't. So I'm not going to report on that. But if Wizards of the Coast say release first edition AD&D, original and basic, all flavors thereof into Creative Commons, you better believe I'd be dropping a news report about that, right? Right. But that's not happening right now. So, Lizards of the Ghost, yes. Matt Sherman has a question. Thought on the Scarlet Brotherhood. Add them into your Greyhawk campaign. Yeah, I mean, so the Scarlet Brotherhood, if you guys aren't aware of this, they are an evil organization in the far south of Greyhawk, but they spread their influence across the entire Flaness. Like all things Greyhawk, like all good things Greyhawk, there's enough of an enigma surrounding them that you can use them for whatever you want. What is causing this disruption? What is causing that? Who helped Caraptus steal Wave, Whelm, and Black Razor? Scarlet Brotherhood agents, all sorts of things. Why are we in a hurry to get the fabled magic items from the Lost Caverns of Sochcomp? Because you don't want them falling into the hands of the Scarlet Brotherhood. They're so flexible, they're so useful. And Matt, I think you should absolutely do your players a favor and introduce them and lean heavily into the AD&D monastic abilities. Because I promise you, I will bet you an internet dollar right now, you don't have anyone at your table who plays a monk, do you? I will bet you 2 internet dollars that they think that monks are weak sauce. Throw some monks at them. Hit them with a group of 4 or 5 monks. The bulk of them at their level, their leader, maybe their level +3. Let them try being stunned. Let them watch as their items are being broken. That'll put the fear of God into them. Kaku asks a good question, and I get this question a lot, and I like it. Am I for or against Unearthed Arcana on pure AD&D tables? Kaku, that is a perfectly cromulent question, and thank you for asking. I don't know if cromulent translates well into Portuguese. It's a fine question. It's a good question. There are tiny bits of Unearthed Arcana that I think are extremely useful for a dungeon master. Conditional spells, and like, this may sound like a contradiction in terms, but the mundane magic items are not really given XP and gold values in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, the Dungeon Master's Guide has like a dagger +1, long tooth +2 against yada yada, whatever. But it doesn't just have a +1 dagger. Things like that are actually covered in Unearthed Arcana, and I like that. If you want to get super technical with spell books, it's got rules for that. I'm okay with cantrips. I don't mind the rules in there for what magic user spells cost. I think they're a little low compared to what cleric spells cost. But that, Gary says, look, this was omitted from the Dungeon Master's Guide erroneously. So here they are now. I might bump up the base cost a little bit, but he gives us a good place to start. On the nomenclature of pole arms is an article everyone should read. I do recommend reading it. Let's see. Some spells, cantrips, magic user spell casting cost, magic item values. That's about it. I can live with a Cavalier, but I do not ever like the Paladin. The Paladin is not a subclass of Cavalier. Cavaliers are vainglorious and egotistical. Paladins are a fighter subclass. I'm sorry. Cavaliers are their own things. They're like assassins or monks or even bards. I don't like the idea of putting the Paladin under the Cavalier. Barbarians are just a big middle finger. They're literally giving, that's what my character would do, ammunition to players who would dare say, that's what my character would do. My sister played the Cavalier early on. We had a lot of fun with it. No Drow PCs, sorry. Nope. No Grey Dwarf PCs. No Deep Gnomes. Now I just said, well, that's about it. I actually don't dislike the Thief Acrobat. If somebody really wanted to run a Thief Acrobat, I would allow it. But yeah, Barbs are out, Drow are out, Cavaliers are off by themselves. So that's how I feel about Unearthed Arcana for first edition AD&D. Yeah, that is spot on, actually, Kaku. Many things aren't balanced because it was made in a hurry. Cavalier should be a fighter subclass. I mean, I think, okay, I don't mean this in a negative way towards you. I think it's just splitting hairs at that point. I mean, if you're just going to say, well, Cavaliers are a fighter subclass, then yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely fine. I'm certainly okay with doing that, but never Paladins is a subclass of Cavalier. Cavaliers and Paladins are like oil and water to me. The Cavalier must always be saluted and treated as like the high muckety muck of the party. They will always have the best armor, always have the best these are things that like a paladin cannot afford by the rules. Okay. Paladins will tithe heavily. They are humble servants of God. Have I ever allowed a group to run an evil party? Once upon a time, Gonzalo, I gave the group, like, I just opened it up. I said, all alignments. I think the worst character we got for that 1 or 2 off session was a chaotic neutral. I said, we're just going to do all thieves. We're just going to do an all thief party. And it was just chaotic neutral. We had some neutral goods. But we had like a chaotic neutral. I have had one neutral evil character who was played exceptionally well. That's interesting, Kaku. That is a bold choice. They cannot use the exceptional strength table. Do you know what? I can actually see a case for that. They're going to be fit, but they're not going to be ripped. They're not going to be swole. They're not going to be bro, do you even lift? They're going to focus as much on dressage, etiquette, tilting at the list, that sort of thing. I like that. I actually like that. 70% of deaths are made by walls. I want to know more. Click, click. Oh my gosh. Now, what I have seen, to go back to Gonzalo's question about evil parties, what I have seen about out of evil play in the past, my experience as a player in games where the dungeon master was like, any alignment. I had a weird DM in the 90s. We only ended up playing this game twice. He randomized every aspect. We played like this 2E and some other RPG hybrid that he had mashed together. But he randomized every aspect of our characters, every single solitary aspect. Your hair color, your age, what physical traits you had. I ended up with a near albino, pale, blue-haired human who had pointy ears like an elf and violet eyes. But he also randomized alignment. You didn't get to pick your alignment. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I think the first session we spent most of the night going through his stupid Rollmaster-esque charts. It wasn't Rollmaster that he mashed it up with, or maybe it was, and I just wasn't familiar enough with it at the time. I was wondering if that's what it was, Kaku, people slipping and falling, but that is correct. Cooperative Waffles, they get a percentage bump, and if you go over 100%, it will bump up your stat by 1. So like you could have like a 1680 or 1690 in charisma, and then roll over to 17 charisma. But yeah, it was a very strange, I guess the kids today would call it homebrew game system that he had, and most of it was spent making up our characters. And Matt was very like, he was very meta. So while stuff was going on with player characters, like my character was at the tavern or something, I literally had to leave the apartment. Like, can I not just, like read your rules notes or read a book or something? No, you have to. And I was like, okay. One of their roommates needed some help with his laundry, so I went to the apartment laundry room with him while he did that. Like I said, it was. I probably played in that game a total of about 20 minutes describing things my character was going to do, and none of it was combat. But the reason I bring that up is he, like I said, he randomized our alignments, and I ended up with like chaotic neutral or something like that, and like I was just okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people like will do stuff like that with pole arms and so on. Like a gnome with a gnomish two-handed sword would be like at most a long sword, right? I don't quite get that granular. I just assume that it's, the gnome is striking with it as a two-handed sword, and he's putting all of his gnomish strength into it, so it's still doing the same amount of damage as a two-handed sword. And I don't get into, well, that's not a gnomish two-handed sword. I'll be a stickler about armor, though. You got a halfling fighter, you find a suit of plate mail, it's humans and elves and half elves. Now, maybe later you find a suit of halfling sized plate mail, magic plate mail. This is what I meant to say. It's not going to fit on a human, an elf, a half elf, or a half orc. It'll fit on a dwarf. It'll fit on a gnome. It'll fit on a halfling. So that's just my hot take. So what else is going on right now? I want to make sure I close this. So last night, I wanted to, I wanted to, oh, there was something on eBay that I wanted to win. And it was double retro. I really, really wanted to win it on eBay, and I didn't. But it ended up going for what I thought was a stupid price. And I thought, okay, because I threw in a bid on it. Now, this was on Paul Stormberg's Treasure Trove auction, and he's auctioning off the Jim Ward collection. Like, he sold the typewriter that Deities and Demigods was written on, a bunch of stuff like that. But the one item that I didn't think would really fetch anything that did have Jim's autograph on it. Yes, we do have a Discord, Kaku. I will get that for you. Hang on a second. The one item that was in Jim's stuff that I really wanted, but it ended up like the price of it. I don't feel bad about losing the auction because there was no way I was going to get into a bidding war, and the bidding war must have just been insane. I threw a bid, and I was like the top bidder until like 3 hours to go, and it's like, oh, you've been outbid. So I waited for like the last 45 seconds, and I threw in another bid, and it was like, you've been outbid. And I'm like, I'm not bidding anymore on this. And this morning I looked at it, and it ended up selling for like $156. So in that last 45 seconds, there must have been bid bots just spinning like ultra high speed precision bearings. It was Jim Ward's desk calculator, and he had written property of Jim Ward on it. So it was autographed. It wasn't just that it was a 1970s tabletop calculator. I mean, it was a small calculator. It was only about that big, 4 function. Maybe have more functions. It was made by Commodore. In the early 1970s, before Commodore became a discrete computer company, they made calculators. And I thought, because I was a Commodore kid growing up, VIC-20, 64, 128, 2 flavors of Amiga. How cool would it have been to have gotten a Commodore calculator from a TSR alum? I was like, oh, this, But the thing was, something like that, I'm not going to spend more than 30 or 40 bucks on that. But I mean, that just to straddle 2 worlds of my childhood like that, Dungeons and Dragons and Commodore, would have just been too cool for words. But I ended up not getting it. And again, like when I noped out, like I said, I was willing to go anywhere from $20 to $40. But I did my bid at 45 seconds, and it's like, hey, you've been outbid. And I was like, shit, you know what? No. No. Now, in most auctions, like, it's like, oh, crap. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, I just bid $450. I mean, it's Paul. I could have talked to him, but anybody else. So I don't get into panic bidding. So I didn't. But, oh, I wish I'd won it. Oh, I wish that would have been too neat to have, just to like prop up over here, Commodore. But Que sera. We move on. Life goes on. Besides, I have Jim's autograph on my copy of, or a copy of Deities and Demigods, the Dungeon Master's Guide. I believe I have it on in my Supplement 1 Greyhawk. I unfortunately did not get Jim's signature on Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. So that's a shame. But yeah, I have Jim's autograph on actual gaming stuff, so I'm okay. It's a would have been nice. It's a would have been nice. Yeah, Matt, that stuff on eBay was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, I miss Jim. I wanted to talk to him at least 10 more times. But right here on the channel, if you guys just go to the channel, I have a playlist of the 4 interviews that I did with Jim. Jim was a dude who would show up for an interview just like at the drop of a hat. What was my best AD&D character sheet? As terrible as they are, I liked the Armory character sheets. I still have some unused. Those things were banged out on an IBM 5150, I think. They're nearly unusable. And I have to say, with a point of pride, take care, great old ones. Thank you for stopping in. I have to say, with a point of pride, that so back in the late 90s, there was no way to get classic TTRPG stuff except on eBay, and it was very rare there, or Paul's auctions on Usenet. But there was another Usenet. There was another Usenet forum where people uploaded binaries. It was less than legal, but people uploaded binaries of stuff that you could download. Yes, I do, Kaku. I think a high enough level party that plays smart can defeat Demogorgon. Sure. Anything is beatable, with a possible exception of Azathoth in Deities and Demigods. So I noticed one day that there were no character sheets. Or no, wait, this was after that. I'm sorry, this is well after that. This was in the early 2000s. Forget the Usenet group. There were no scans of the Armory character sheets. So I took one, I scanned it, and I shared it, I think, in a forum or something somewhere. And then I forgot about it. It may have been over on Dragon's Foot because the Armory was out of business. And I for the longest time, for years after that, if you Googled the Armory character sheet, wherever you found it on the internet, AD&D character sheet, the Armory, you would find a scan, a very nice scan. And it was very high resolution, very, 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 very high resolution. And if you scrolled in far enough, you could just faintly see erased pencil markings. And I realized that after I scanned it and uploaded it, I was like, it's not a big deal. But for ages, the only scan of the Armory character sheets that were kicking around out there were the ones that I uploaded, and they just started getting passed around. Little point of pride of that. But they're nearly unusable. They are made for young eyes and cramped handwriting. Honestly, the best character sheet is a sheet of notebook paper where you can space things out and spread things out to your comfort. Oops, that's the wrong one. I got to say that I'm kind of fond of this one. Showing a bit of bias here. This is the output of Crom. Haven't bought any equipment with this yet. So, yeah. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. You'll get all the hit point calculations, armor class, weapons proficiencies. It's very handy. But of course, that's something that Crom generated. Crom. Remember shorthand pads? My mom always had one to write grocery lists and stuff on. Legal pads, very handy. Yes, they are. They're very handy. Yeah, notebook paper. College ruled notebook paper, preferably. I didn't like the broader ruled stuff. College ruled was your go-to. Always felt a little bit smarter using college ruled paper. Let me see. I don't want to have missed any questions. All right. So does anyone else any further questions, guys? I'm fixing to wrap up here. Kaku has just peppered me with questions. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, we will be back. We will be playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for your entertainment and edification. Rory, have a lovely evening. Take care. Thank you for stopping by. We have currently 29 folks watching over on YouTube, and 103 have given us a view over on Twitter. Does Mrs. DD play? Not for many years. She played for a long time, and she has kind of set it aside now. Hopefully, I could get her to game again, before I die. Hopefully, she'd want to do that. Oh, that's cool, Charles. That's cool. Very handy. So, AD&D tomorrow night. 30 people watching on YouTube now. Welcome number 30. Sorry, we're just about to wrap up. But I want to thank everybody for stopping in this evening. And again, guys, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. Please click the bell icon for notifications. If you're watching this video post ex facto, leave a comment down below. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up and tell me what you liked about it, and I'll do more of it. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down and tell me what you didn't like about it, and I'll do less of that within reason. I don't like your face. I don't like your voice. I don't like your content. I don't like you. I don't like your channel name. I'm not going to, obviously. Michael Connor, hail to you. We are about out of here, brother. But thank you for swinging by just the same. We will be back again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Be here, not to be confused with the monster of the same name, the bear. But do stop by and hang out with us. And I certainly hope you will be able to hear the end credits music tonight, because if you don't, then the owl bear will sneak upon you unawares. Peace. Good night, everybody. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.